I now invite Sue Paish to deliver her address.
Thank you. It fits. It's the right size. I wasn't sure about that. President Kinloch, distinguished members of the board, exceptional faculty and staff, proud, happy, surprised, relieved, parents and family members, and you, our most honored guests, our graduates. Congratulations. Today, things change. For the past number of years and months, you've been a student at BCIT. For people like me in the outside world who are constantly looking for the best talent around the globe, we know that at BCIT, you have benefited from exceptional teaching, relevant programming, visionary leadership, industry engagement, and an institution that's involved in the community. We also know that because of the way BCIT runs its programs, you are results-oriented, you're hardworking, you're a multitasker, you're determined, you're resilient, you're trustworthy, and you're honest. Who knew when you were juggling pending midterms, overdue labs, and backed up assignments, you were getting all these skills and attributes? But you did. And these skills and characteristics matter. They will make you a very sought-after person. As has already been said, coming to BCIT was a good move. Deciding to graduate from BCIT is one of the best decisions you have made in your lifetime. Because of the things that I've just said that you have as a BCIT graduate, you have a ticket to the future. Now, before you tip your cap over your eyes, kick your feet back, and snooze for the rest of the morning, I've said you've got a ticket to the future. I haven't said where that ticket is going to take you. No one is going to deliver your future to you. BCIT and your diploma or your degree will open doors for you. How you show up in that doorway, what you stand for, what you say, and how you say it will paint the picture of the future for yourself. I'm going to keep things really simple here. I know that we live in a complex world. I know that that is communicated all around BCIT, and I'm going to simplify things. Simplicity these days, I think, is a gift. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share some thoughts and experiences with you that I've gained over the past 36 years when I first graduated. So I'm a little bit younger than you, Jack, but I'm catching up. Back then, when I was in school, Vancouver was a much more rural community. British Columbia was much more rural. In fact, most of south of the Fraser was farmland. There was no Facebook. There were no computers or Instagram. I know the dinosaurs had just vacated the property. But back then, there was around Canada, and in fact around the globe, an organization called 4-H. Some of the parents may remember this. The role of 4-H was to provide a framework for young people living on these farms and acreages separated from many, many miles from one another. It was to provide a framework to help youth plan their lives going forward. The emblem of 4-H is a four-leaf clover with an H emblazoned on each of the leaves of the four-leaf clover. So I thought we could use a virtual 4-H, maybe even a digital, given my new role, a digital 4-H to talk about a framework for all of you. Think of each leaf on the four-leaf clover with an H. One for health, one for happiness, one for humility, and one for humanity. Let's start with health. You are actually a pretty young-looking bunch. That's good. You're probably mostly healthy. And if you are lucky. I encourage you to deliberately take steps to protect and nurture your health. I remember back when I was a baby lawyer, just graduated from law school, just called to the bar, in my first job in a ginormous law firm downtown, took me a week to find the washroom. And I was managing all of these assignments coming at me, and I felt pretty good. I felt like I could juggle it until one Friday afternoon. The department chair came into my office and with a thud dropped a ginormous memorandum on my desk. And he said, I need you to read this and then come and talk to me about it. It is a firm-defining project. Friday afternoon. I read the assignment. I went and had a conversation with him. I had no idea what he was talking about. Not a clue. I saw my fledgling legal career floating down the hallway on a Friday afternoon. I did what any self-respecting, ambitious, conscientious young lawyer would do in that situation. I had two choices. I could go to the bar or I could go to the gym. I chose the gym. Sweating to disco music, you will be spared disco music in your ventures to the gym. It was something unique to the 70s and 80s. Sweating to disco music, I felt relaxed. I felt the stress kind of go away, and I thought I was getting some good ideas. I decided from that moment forward that I would make an effort to get some exercise every day. I'm not talking about being a super athlete. The athletic community, I think, is quite grateful that I've never aspired nor pretended to be an athlete. This was just about getting a little exercise so I could stay healthy. Over the coming months and year or two, I noticed a lot of my colleagues were feeling stressed and overwhelmed by the volume of work and the intensity of work we were getting. And every day, nearly every day, relentlessly, I would say to them, why don't you come to the gym with me? It actually makes you feel better. 100% of the time, the answer I got back was, I don't have time. And I realized a truism then that I know is true today. We are created with lots of different skills and attributes. Some of us are introverts, some of us are extroverts, some of us are athletes, some of us are not. There is one way in which everybody in this room and outside of this room is created absolutely equal. We all have exactly the same amount of time on the planet every single day. And you have the authority, and I will say the responsibility, to decide how you will use at least some of the time you have on the planet every day. I encourage you to be deliberate in devoting some time to staying healthy. We know that physical health is only one part of the equation. Today, we know the importance of protecting and nurturing our mental health, and I want to commend Jonathan for the work that you have done in bringing that to the forefront and having that as a conversation piece around BCIT. If anyone around you now or in the future, or you yourself are experiencing mental health challenges or living with mental health, let people know. We will help you, we will support you, and guide you. So be deliberate about staying healthy. Now, as a leader, you are all going to be leaders no matter what fields you choose. Judgment will be critical. Judgment will be important in everything you do. And so a couple of years from now, when the baby is crying, the washing machine has flooded the kitchen, your email is exploding with the crisis at the office, and your mother-in-law is standing in the doorway with her arms on her hips like this, that's not the time to say, go into the gym. Exercise judgment. So health, happiness. I quite often say, if you aren't happy, what are you? And I'm not talking about a plastic smile insincerely pasted across your face. I'm talking about, are you living a life with purpose? Are you living the life that you want to live? A life that will help you feel fulfilled and help you be happy. And that really comes down to, what do you stand for? What do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Not what position are you going for, but what kind of life do you want to lead? And what are the values that are going to support you in pursuing that life purpose? Your values need to be your values, not the values of your parents, not the values of your colleagues at work or your spouse or partner or your buddies, not the values that you get off the internet. They need to be your values, as does your purpose. For me, I've said for the last 30 plus years, my purpose in life, and anyone who knows me for more than 30 minutes will hear me say this, everything I do to build a better British Columbia and a better Canada for my kids and all of their friends. And that's all of you. I've used that life purpose as a filter and a guide for making big life decisions and for everyday life. By the way, a life purpose doesn't need to be static. It can change over time as your circumstances may change. And it needs to be real, and it needs to be very, very meaningful to you. There are no boundaries to the life purpose that you can choose. You have multiple opportunities in front of you. Actually, there is a boundary. As a BCIT graduate, you can't be a jerk. We have enough of those on the planet. You are now carrying the brand. You are carrying the reputation of BCIT as a graduate and a member of the Alumni Association. So health, happiness, how about humility? With diploma in hand or degree in hand and all the attributes that I've spoken about, you are going to be a very sought-after person, and there may be times where you are the smartest person in the room. Resist the temptation to let everyone know. Humility is a critical quality in leaders. It means that you're curious about the views of other people. It means that you care about how others who are different from you see the world. Resist the temptation to come to a meeting with all the answers before you know the perspectives of the question seen by others. The importance of different perspectives was really driven home to me several years ago, just before I was about to be managing partner of Faskin's. And our daughters were very young at the time, and I knew that this job was going to require a lot of travel. It was going to require long hours and lots of time away from the family. And so Brad and I thought it'd be a good idea if I had a little chat with each of our daughters and just talk to them about this. So I thought, yeah, that's a good idea. And I got ready to have a conversation with each of our girls, and I was really looking forward to it because I knew they were going to be excited and proud and happy and curious. None of that. None of that. Our eldest daughter was very worried that I'd had a fight at work with the people I'd been working with, and that's why I had to go and take a different job. Our youngest daughter was very concerned about the amount of time I was going to spend on an airplane because there was something in the news about air travel. And it was our middle daughter, Kyla, who gave me the comment that has stuck with me forever. I was chatting with Kyla on the couch, and I was saying, so Kai, I'm going to learn all these new skills. I'm going to have tasks to do that I've never done before. I'm going to have experiences that I couldn't have in any other context. And when I finish being managing partner, I can do anything I want to do. I can get any job I want. She looked at me and she said, do you think you could get a job working in a pet store? That was not on my radar, but it brought home to me, never assume that the audience sees the situation, the problem, or the issue the same way that you do. If you are curious and if you are caring about those around you, if you embrace different perspectives, if you see different as good, not as bad, and if you incorporate all of that into how you lead and how you make decisions, you will be the person that people want to work with. You will be the person that people want to work around. You will be the person who people want on their team and on their group. You will be a better leader. So finally, let's talk about humanity. I think you all know we are in the midst of the fourth industrial revolution. The first industrial revolution was when we went from beasts of burden to steam. Then in the second industrial revolution, our economy and our globe went from steam to electricity. The third industrial revolution in my lifetime, Jack, you might have been in the second industrial revolution. Yay! Just realized that. You and Thomas Edison, right? Right up there. The third industrial revolution was when we introduced microprocessors and computers, and we are now in the fourth industrial revolution. And we know that during the fourth industrial revolution, over the next decade in Canada, we will see 2 million jobs that currently exist in our economy disappear. And they will be replaced by 3 million new jobs, many of which don't exist right now. You are perfectly positioned to capture the opportunities coming through the fourth industrial revolution and to thrive in the new economy. And I can tell you in my new role with Canada's Digital Technology Supercluster, it is almost overwhelming to see the kinds of opportunities, the kinds of technologies that are coming from the collaborations that are taking place right now between small companies, multinationals, Canadian companies, research institutions, BCIT, and our governments. You are perfectly positioned to thrive in the future of Canada and in the future of the world. You live in Canada. You live in British Columbia. You had the opportunity to eat breakfast this morning. I hope you took advantage of that. And tonight you will brush your teeth with clean water. Those factors in and of themselves put you in an extremely small percentage of the global population. You are privileged. As a result of being privileged, you also have a responsibility. Like protecting your health, be deliberate about helping the world be a better place. Whether it is supporting a community or a family on the other side of the planet or just down the street, commit to improving the state of global humanity. If you do that, you will build a better British Columbia and a better Canada for your children. So in conclusion, be intentional about protecting your physical and mental health. Define what happiness means to you. Try not to be the smartest person in the room. Humility will take you a long way. Never be a jerk. Be grateful for the privilege that you have and be deliberate about helping others and giving back. BCIT has given you a ticket to the future. The skills and abilities that you have and the purpose that you will build for your life will build a life for you that I hope brings you great happiness. I will close with my reverie from my youth that I still say to myself almost every day, courtesy of Carole King. She's from the olden days too. Your parents will know her. You've got to get up every morning and show the world all the love in your heart. The rest is actually quite easy. Congratulations, you guys.